What's going on, Soul Nation? Ginger Prime here, and I'm here to talk to you about the question, is WoW Classic worth it? And honestly, as somebody who doesn't have any nostalgia for the game, as somebody who has not considered themselves a WoW player, somebody who's coming from Final Fantasy XI, from Final Fantasy XIV, there is something incredibly beautiful about this game. I want this game to succeed like never before. I think, and I've said this and expressed this a few times, that kind of WoW's, gameplay and how you've seen how they developed, and is WoW dying? We've had that conversation on Work to Game, and we're going to continue to have that conversation because ultimately, what is going on with the state and the soul and what it means to be an MMORPG? WoW Classic, I want it to be so successful. I want it to succeed. I want it to fundamentally shape and reshape what it means to be an MMORPG in 2019 and 2020 and 2021 and beyond. There's something that we've lost. There's something, a soul, a passion, a heart to these games. And while we've had incredible successes and incredible games like Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, ultimately, what is at stake? What is an MMORPG? Everybody's got these different definitions, but ultimately, that's what WoW Classic is set here to decide today. Is it worth it? Absolutely, because it's just $15. You go, you check it out. Right now, you wait in a massive queue. So they're going to have to fix that. But ultimately, if they're expecting a huge drop-off of the game, if a drop-off happens, if only just a handful of people are tolling around with WoW Classic, then good for them. Happy days are ahead. It didn't really cost you all that much. If you look at it compared to the price of a $60 game itself, it's just $15 and you're in and you're playing. And that's it. There's no other front purchases. There's no $60 game and then a subscription. There's no $60 game and then. In fact, there's no really cash shop. There's no, anything. The game's not going to essentially be sitting here asking you for more and more and more money. It's kind of outside the wheel. It's so beyond the corporate mega structure monolith of always be, robbing us of our hard-earned money. Now, will it rob us of our time? Probably. I mean, this is an MMO. But it's a game that is baked and bred into the core of what it means to survive together or die alone. Honestly, I really want this to succeed. I'm working on a script right now. That video will probably go up on Work to Game either later this week or early next. And it is at the root of the heart and soul of what it means to be an MMORPG. Where did we go wrong? What happened? What changed for us? Obviously, we've changed. And that's why this is so important. That's why this is so interesting to watch and to see it unfold. And hopefully, we're wrong. Hopefully what everybody's been telling us is wrong. Hopefully we've read the data wrong. And thus we've just been playing these MMOs because of the sunk cost. Because there is that we desire. But that's why it feels twisted and warped and corrupted and off, right? Like if you were in another parallel universe and you're sitting here saying like, what about this is fundamentally not right? Why does it feel good but at the same time feel empty? It's kind of like you're just eating nothing but candy and then you're sitting here like, but where's the meat and the potatoes and where's the protein and the substance that is so lacking, that we've so desired, that we've so lost in all of this? There's such a strength in obviously being able to play multiple games, pick them up, put them down. And that's what the test is going to show. That's what here in 6 months we will end up seeing. If nobody is playing WoW Classic, if it's such just this devoid of community, if it's just so empty because of the grind and because how slow it is, well then we know. We know that the devs, we know that Activision, we know that everybody was ultimately right. And the phrase, you think you do but you don't, is a sad truth that we have to wear and carry and shrug and look back at these times and these grinds with fond memories and knowing that we will never go and do those again because we think we do, but we don't. But hopefully it changes and hopefully it morphs and hopefully it builds into this concept of you think you do and you do and you do and you did and you continue to do. Because essentially, kind of like if you think about here's this weird opportunity in which that maybe we're going back in time and maybe we can correct our path forward. MMOs don't need to have millions and billions of players. The Fortnites of the world can have that. the the cash shop loot box shops can have that. But maybe what we've been missing is that sense of community, that sense of struggle. And what we've ended up seeing, because, the data has all said, the devs have all said, like, you don't want an MMO, you want a single-player game that has some MMO elements, that has just a touch of these things, these long-forgotten ways about it, enough to keep us present and enough to keep us coming back, but still at the same time giving us that sinking suspicion, that feeling that something is not right. And that's why I have to say, like, I'm really enjoying my time with WoW Classic. I'm not a WoW guy. I don't have that nostalgia for this game. But foundationally, and I'm saying foundationally on purpose here, it's so interesting. My hope is that this builds a foundation in which that other companies can see, like, oh wow, like there is a market that can support a slower game, a bigger game, a game that you have to invest in, a game that doesn't necessarily cater to the person who only has 30 minutes to play every day. A game that says dailies might have been the wrong choice, that capping things out might have been the wrong choice. It's like, let's embrace the grind. Let's actually stop calling it a grind and let's say embrace the investment of the player and the community and everybody that surrounds it. It's supported, it's fascinating, and honestly, it's a seed of hope for somebody who longs for that of a Final Fantasy XI remaster. It's a seed of hope that says, if WoW can do it, and if more people play the classic version, maybe something went wrong, and then we can start looking into it. I have my theory, and you'll see that over on Work to Game here, like I said. So I'll try to link the video together so you guys can easily jump to it once it's finished. I have my own personal theory as to what was the biggest sin that caused all of this, that caused how WoW slipped down. Because if you ask any WoW player, there's no one thing. It's like a series of 1,000 cuts that has led it to its current state, where people are just leaving it because they've all misread the data. They've all interpreted the data incorrectly, and thus it leaves a player base feeling betrayed, feeling hurt, feeling abandoned by the devs, by the community they once loved. Where is my community? And maybe it's not going to be sustainable inside one game. Like, again, and unfortunately, time will tell. If I had a time machine, I would go to January and I would come back and report to you, guys, you wouldn't believe it. You won't believe what's happened. Or, yeah, that was a fun couple of weeks. Or, I'm sorry you waited in line for a couple of weeks. Everybody's kind of moved on. Only time will tell. And that is the unfortunate crux of the situation and the thesis here. So, honestly, at this point, I just want to say, wow, like there's obviously a magic that was there. And so I know there's people who are enjoying it from a nostalgia perspective, but just from this perspective of danger in this world and this concept of everything working together, and you see all the modern stuff stripped away. I don't think all the modern stuff is bad. And that's ultimately what essentially the state of the game is going to end up focusing it on, is that, like, people talk about sharding and how that's, essentially bad. And that's what killed the community. People talk about, X, Y, and Z killed this. X, and goes on and on. And we can all debate exactly what it was. And that's kind of what this is. This is kind of like a second chance in a way. But it's a second chance if only we respond to it. So to answer the question that I answered earlier, is WoW Classic worth it? You better bet that it is. If you want and you long for something and you can't figure out why you can't get it anymore, you at least owe it to yourself to try this game. To at least try it for a month. And if it's not for you, that's totally cool too. It's not going to be for everybody. These games aren't designed to kind of do that. I think when they started trying to cater to more and more people, part of the soul was lost, right? But that's just my theory. A game theory. No. Thanks, Matt Bat, for always having that line come into my head whenever I say theory. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up, guys, because I'm diving into it more in depth on Work to Game. Please go check it out. I wanted to get these thoughts out because I want to keep playing this game, and it's this weird conflict where I wait in line and I'm busy and I just can't. And I don't want them to cater to me in that regards. I don't want them to have to cater to my schedule. I would love for, to be able to queue in. That's why I don't think sharding necessarily is bad, or layering or whatever they're calling it, to help get more and more people in. I think, get people in, get them playing. And man, what if they get hooked again? What if WoW Classic becomes like the premiere? What if it gets 12 million subs just for Classic? If 90, 98, 100% of the people aren't playing retail, everybody's in Classic. What does that mean for the future? I want to know what you guys are thinking in the comments below. If you like these videos, if you like these conversations, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to jump into the conversation below. I'm really hopeful to talk with you more about WoW Classic, more about 14, more about MMOs. I love myself some online RPGs. I mean, that's the crux of it. That's that's where I gravitate to. Anyway, for the Soul Nation, for Ginger Prime, my name's Brian. Hopefully you guys have a phenomenal day. I'll see you in my next video, and take care.